Bones from Broken Homes. This is a podcast for musicians and artists alike. My name is Mark.
And I'm Renegade.
And we're going to talk with folks about anything from new releases to tour stories.
The good, the bad, and the worst. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, here we are in Ragged Bones with Logan Greene from Tucson, Arizona. So tell us about yourself and what you do.
Hey, I'm Logan Greene. I'm a teacher here in Tucson, and I'm a musician, and I started a nonprofit, so I'm the director of a nonprofit.
That's awesome.
And I do a bunch of stuff, volunteer stuff, and just do things in the community.
How long have you been active as Logan Greene? Well, the project, I guess. I know your name as well.
Right, yeah. I have been playing kind of like as a solo project since like 2008 or so, 2007, 2008. And since then I've just like toured and played a bunch and like been all over. It's kind of been off and on in different projects. Like I'll have like a band, and then it'll just be me for a while, and then maybe my partner and I'll play music or whatever. And so it's kind of just been, varied. But over that time, I've played like in 48 states. I'm trying to get to 50 pretty soon.
We're right there in the same number, 48, but not the Hawaii or Alaska.
That's where I'm at. Yep. So trying to get those done, and then I've just like toured with different bands and done different projects outside of just my name as well.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
We were actually just listening to this one here, Medium Place. Yeah, we were listening. I think my favorite song on it is the one you were talking about.
Cool Ways to Die.
Yeah, Cool Ways to Die.
Yeah, and I liked 1,000 Melodies too. That one's cute.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, we're not going to ask where the name came from because I'm assuming your parents gave it to you, right?
It's a pretty normal name.
So you said you're a teacher. What do you do outside of music? Like,
I teach music, so it's all like music all the time. It's literally the only thing I do.
That's
some,
so awesome.
Like music thing. So I have 2 high school classes that I teach, and then I have about like 25 private lesson students I see weekly.
Yeah.
More or less. And it keeps me really busy. I try to like constantly be doing music and learning new things, and like it's always like really exciting for me because when I was in high school, I was like maybe above average at music, and like I was in marching band and stuff like that, but I wasn't necessarily like the best like player. I wasn't even the best at my high school, and we didn't have a very good program, so like the best weren't even that great. But since then, I feel like I've just like more so than even people who were better at me at that time, like I've just like improved and kept improving and kept wanting to learn. Like the other day, I don't listen to a whole lot of like pop country, and I'd only ever heard so I was listening to Brad Paisley, and I'd only ever heard his like really sappy like ballad songs, and then I heard a song he has called Nervous Breakdown that is like this 5 minutes of just guitar shredding as fast as you can play in like a really like chicken picking country style, and it blew my mind. And like so now I'm just trying to learn that. And
That's awesome.
And I'm like, cool, there's always like new stuff that I'm trying to learn. And so for me, it's like both being a teacher and musician, it's like, I'm also just like constantly learning.
That's awesome.
Totally, staying immersed.
When you teach, is it one certain instrument or is it a bunch of different ones?
It's mostly guitar at this point.
Okay.
I do ukulele lessons as well, so
Cool.
it's like those 2 things. And I'll teach some others. And in the past, I've taught a mariachi class, and I've taught band class and orchestra and jazz band and choir and all sorts of things. They're not really my forte and not what I'm as excited about or passionate about. Like guitar is awesome for me, and like I really enjoy guitar class. But I've taught lots of different things.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So do you have any animal friends at home, or what are their names?
I do. I have 2 cats who live with me. Their names are Sweet Pea.
No way! I had a cat named Sweet Pea growing up. Yeah,
that's amazing. He's amazing. He's very lovable, as the name suggests, and he's polydactyl, so he has an extra toe on each paw.
Oh, cool!
It's incredible.
Is that why your logo? Right? You said that before.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
His logo. I have 2 stickers from Logan Greene, and it's an animal paw, and there's an extra toe, and then a person paw, a person hand, and an extra finger.
Yeah, exactly. So we got the polydactylism on that
cool.
shirt. Exactly. So that's one of my babies, and he's like 3 years old. And then I have a younger cat named Prince, and he's just real cute. So,
Yeah. He's just adorable.
yeah, and then I'm a sucker for like stray cats, so there's a bunch of outside cats that I feed,
totally.
and they're
Yep.
just like, and I got like they were just kind of in the neighborhood, and all the neighbors were kind of feeding them, and then eventually they were starting to just breed too much, and then there was like too many, and so I went and like got this like spay and neuter program who came and did it for free, and like it was like a trap neuter
Oh, wow.
release.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so now they're all like, not breeding, which is good for the neighborhood, and they have a very fixed population, and so I feel more comfortable about
Yeah.
feeding them
Yeah.
because I was already feeding them before. But yeah, so there's a bunch of outside cats too.
Yeah.
What is your most recent release, and do you have any tour plans for
Or
the future?
recording plans.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah, we just recorded like a 3-song demo at this local studio called Baby Gas Mask Records, and we are going to be just releasing that on a Spotify near you or something. And that we just did. So hopefully we'll be getting that out within the next month or so. And otherwise, it's that album Medium Place I put out last year.
Yeah.
Cool. It looks really cool. The way
Very professional.
they did the front and the inside,
Oh,
and even
yeah.
the CD. I think it had cactuses on it, right?
Yeah. This is
Look cool.
my friend Patrick Sexton, who lives in Seattle. Amazing graphic designer.
Yeah.
And just like
It looks
like,
amazing,
Yeah, I sent him like some ideas that I had, and because I didn't like, I love the desert. I'm born in the desert, and there's a lot of desert imagery on it, but I didn't want it to be like just a saguaro or like something that is
Yeah.
like the most obvious thing.
Yeah.
So this feels a lot more like at home to me, of like, oh no, this is really what the desert looks like. It's there's a lot of saguaros in the desert, but it's also all these other things out
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
So, and he's from Phoenix, so he's like grew up, in Arizona, and so we both have like this kind of very like vivid imagery of what
Yeah.
the real desert is.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, it looks great.
All right. So, what's your favorite tour location you've ever been?
Tour like location in general,
Or show, a place you've played a show, or even just the city, or like any. Yeah. What's the one place you're like, oh my god, this place was awesome. I gotta go.
Totally. Okay. Well, I have so many answers to that question. Like, it's like it could be just the entire time talking just about that question.
Yeah, right.
So I'll try to like sum it up in like my top 3 or something. Because like as far as like a city, I always try to go to Albuquerque. I have a lot of friends there. It's awesome. It's so fun, and there's cool things, and it's like right at my speed as well. Like big cities are like, I just don't enjoy hanging out there.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the hustle of like bigger cities and stuff like that. So Albuquerque is like in that like Southwest desert kind of slow paced town. And then
Absolutely.
they also have all this like, interesting stuff and really nerdy stuff and
Yeah.
things like that just as a city. And then it's just like beautiful high desert that's like, so I love it there. But I also love towns like Olympia and Lawrence, Kansas is awesome. So like really for me it's like the smaller towns that are not too small, not necessarily rural, but like
Yeah.
a small city.
Yeah.
That's like my sweet spot. So I love that. But like outside of like just like the city itself, like I love going to weird attractions and things like that on tour. So like City Museum in St. Louis. Have y'all ever been there?
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. It's like one of the most amazing places. It's like a old shoe factory that was converted into like a magical world that you can just explore.
Oh wait, someone was just talking to us about this. Actually, I think it was Mary Wander. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's in St. Louis, and it's this shoe factory.
maybe I'm wrong.
Well, yeah, there might be a different one. There's Meow Wolf as well. That's
I think it was
That's what they
Meow
were
Wolf.
saying.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's what
and they're very on par with each
Yeah,
other.
okay.
I love both of them. Like seriously, like so much. So City Museum is like an old shoe factory, and there's like slides built into it.
Oh
and
my
there's-
God, yeah.
The basement is all these like caves they built. Like it wasn't
That's
caves
incredible.
originally. They added all these caves, and then there's a Ferris wheel on the roof, and it's a 10-story building, so you could go on the roof of a 10-story
is
building.
so
and be
high
on
up
the
Ferris
ten-
wheel.
right?
Oh my god, we gotta go.
It's
Yeah, we
incredible,
gotta go.
and it's
That's
like relatively
cool.
cheap, and you can just hang out there all day. And they have all these other things there, and you have like just things to do. Like they also one of the slides is like a 10-story slide from the top
the
that spirals down into the basement, into the
What?
caves. And like the coolest part about it is you can just explore anything. Like so, if
That's
you
rad.
find a hole in the wall, you just crawl through it, and then you just find out what's in there. And
Wow,
like that's
yeah.
what the whole place is about. It's just
That's
like
so
exploration.
cool.
It's so weird
And there's like
awesome.
a giant ball pit with giant balls that you just go in and play in. And it's
That
like
sounds so fun.
and it is completely unsafe for all ages.
Yeah,
It is
it's
absolutely
My
like,
kind of place.
Yeah, like I broke my toe there once, just like crawling around and climbing around, and people get hurt. People will bring knee pads there because you're just on your like
Crawling all
yeah,
the time,
exactly.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a wild place, and I love it. And places like that, like Meow Wolf, is another example of just this like immersive art experience. It's the experience. You just go into this other world.
Yeah.
And that's what City Museum is in Meow Wolf. And it's not unlike, bigger things that everybody knows, like Disneyland or whatever. Like Disneyland tries to do that sort of thing. And they're like, experts at it because they've, done it and made millions of dollars with that idea. But it's like, I just love that experience of being like in another world, like out of reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So that would be my short answer.
Short, yeah. That's a really good short answer. Solid.
Okay, if you could tour anywhere in the whole world, where would you go?
So far I've played in like 10 different countries.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. I did a little
Wow.
tour of Europe, and I played in Peru and Ecuador, and then I've played in Mexico and Canada as well.
Nice. Yeah.
I really do want to tour Mexico. It seems awesome, and like I've had a really good time playing in like Nogales, like nearby. And then there's other parts of Europe I want to go back to, but it wasn't as fun as like I like touring the US a lot. Like touring Europe was not as fun as touring the US. It was a cool experience, and I'm so happy I did it, but like it's not really the same sort of like cool punk DIY culture
Yeah.
over there. Like it's a very different kind of culture surrounding it, and part of it is because arts are just so much more supported over there.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like there's this industry of just like, oh yeah, we support artists. It's like it almost makes it too easy to like go. There's like not as much of that.
Just
like
boring.
Yeah, there's not as much of that grit, or like every time you go on tour in the US as a DIY musician, like you go to one show and it's amazing, it's the best experience of your life, and the other show is like, what? Like, how are these shows back to back?
Yeah.
Like these weird experiences. So I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
Just like, kind of inconsistency. So for me, like touring US is awesome. Like I actually want to do a tour of Florida is one of the places
Really?
I want to do, just Florida, because I've only played there once, and I really want to get in like deep into Florida. So like for me, a lot of it is just like places in US I still haven't been. And then to finish off the 50 states, and I really do want to hit some of the territories like Guam and Virgin Islands
Oh,
and
yeah,
places like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That would be
So that's
cool.
another part of like what I want to tour next.
So what about the craziest tour story, good or bad? Like, what's the craziest thing that's happened on the road?
I feel like that's harder for me. I like people have asked me that before, and I always have a hard time like remembering a specific
retaining
thing.
the stories,
Yeah. I'm gonna come back to me on that.
Yeah,
one.
no worries.
We
Yeah,
can
we can
pass,
come back, yeah.
and then when you think of something, you can be like, oh, hey.
Oh, wait. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
totally. Okay. It's getting crazy, okay? So, do you have any paranormal stories, like aliens or Bigfoot or ghosts or anything weird that it doesn't even have to be real? It could have just seemed really creepy.
Conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I really
You're like-
don't. Like it's hard for me to convince people who really get into the paranormal that I want the paranormal to be real so bad. Like I desperately want it, but I can't. Like nothing about like my life has led me to believe any like real paranormal stories outside of just like, yeah, we can't explain that. Like there are things we can't explain.
Yeah.
Right? Like that happens. But I don't have any like ghost stories. I don't have anything that has like, been that sort of thing. The closest that I have is when I think I was in high school, my mom had this dog that all of a sudden wouldn't walk down the hallway.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a bit creepy.
Right? It was a weird scenario. And like
Yeah.
again, this is one that I can't explain. Just wouldn't walk down the hallway. And it was like for weeks. And the dog before would walk down the hallway, and we would try, like, instead of feeding it in its normal spot, feeding it at the end of the hallway, so it would walk down the hallway. And if we picked the dog up and brought it to the other side of the hallway, the dog would be fine in the room like we brought it to, but wouldn't go back down the hallway. So something about the hallway,
Something about the hallway.
the dog just changed its mind on, like, whatever was going on. And then one day my mom was just got tired of it and like went to the hallway and was like, whatever spirits are here, like leave my dog alone. And then almost immediately the dog just like, yeah, I can walk down this hallway.
gosh.
That's no problem. So that's like
That's something.
that's
totally
interesting
something.
to me.
Yeah.
And that's like I don't necessarily attribute it to like being something supernatural
Yeah,
or
you can't
something
say this is
paranormal.
a thing, you know,
right?
but-
Like, that's just
It's
where
just
I'm at
weird,
with it.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
hard
totally.
to explain. Like that's where I'm at on that stuff. Oh, I do remember a tour story now.
Yes.
And this is just one that like is just kind of the weirdest thing, and it's like awesome and exciting, but also just like bizarre and out there. So I was on tour with my partner at the time, and we were just like kind of started in Tucson, and we were going to be going through a lot of states we hadn't been through before, like South Dakota and places like that, like big long drives. And so we were like, and we knew it wasn't going to be the most like lucrative tour, the most successful tour, and we didn't really have any like big festival or anchor show we were going to. We just wanted to check off those states. So we were like, whatever we can do on this tour to make it more fun and interesting sounds great, because we just have a lot of weird drives. And then we also noticed, basically lining up perfectly with our dates, or like our kickoff date was Shia LaBeouf was having a art project called Take Me Anywhere, where he hitchhiked around the country with two artists he works with, Rothko and Turner, I think their names are. And they would just tweet their GPS.
No
and
way.
then whoever picked them up first would just get to take them
Oh
anywhere.
my God! Did you pick up Shia LaBeouf?
That was the art
you
project.
trying? Did
We
you
were
try?
so trying because like every single place we went, he was there like right next to us, like right around
so
there.
close.
And then all of a sudden somebody took him somewhere else, and we were in this loop, and he was now on the other side of the country, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we still we were following it on Twitter, so we were getting notifications on our phone. And we woke up one day in Bozeman, Montana, and we got a notification that we had seen the night before Shia LaBeouf ended up back on this side of the country, and we were like, oh, okay. And we got a notification that Shia LaBeouf was in like 5 minutes away, and we woke up in the morning. We're like, all right, let's go.
Let's
try
go
to get him
now.
up. And then we got there like third, so we didn't get there first, but we got to meet him. We got to say hi and talk to him for a minute,
that's
and he was really
cool.
nice about
Yeah.
it. I was like, yeah, can we get a selfie? And he's like, yeah, of course you can.
Aw,
Like that's
that's
what we're
nice.
here
Yeah,
for.
Yeah.
And then we started talking to the guy who actually picked him up, and he's like, I don't know where I'm going to take him, because obviously nobody expects to pick up Shia LaBeouf that
Yeah.
morning. Like it's not,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
whole part of the thing. So he's like, I don't really know. And I was like, we're going up to Missoula, and we're playing a show up there. And he's like, and then Shia LaBeouf overheard me and was like, y'all are playing a show? We are fucking going to
No
that
way.
show.
Gosh.
Fuck yes, we're going to
No
that
way.
show. and that's like my best Shia LaBeouf impression. He has like a really intense voice.
Yeah.
And he always says, fuck yeah. Like, that's Shia LaBeouf. And
Did he go to that show?
and so we didn't expect him to at
Yeah,
all. Like,
yeah,
so we
yeah.
were like, whatever, we're just going to show up at this house show. It's just like a regular house show, whatever, a cool punk house. Everything was cool. And, but then, we had given them our number, and then they asked us for the address, and we're like, okay, maybe he's going to show up. But we weren't about to be like, hey, everybody at this house, Shia LaBeouf is coming
He's
right
coming
now.
to this
Yeah.
show.
Right?
Yeah.
So the show started, and then people just started to trickle into this very small basement, like random people. And we're like, okay. And then I noticed, because Shia LaBeouf had this hat and had a big beard, literally somebody thought that it was Jesse from Days and Days when I posted
No
a picture,
way.
because they were just like, he just like looked like a crusty folk punk dude, and everybody just knows that I play folk punk shows, so they were like, oh, that's just like some folk punk dude, not Shia LaBeouf, when I posted like the selfie.
Yeah.
So that's what he looked like when he was in the basement, so nobody really was like, oh, that's definitely Shia LaBeouf here at
Yeah.
this house show in Missoula, Montana tonight, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you think that? So that, but we noticed too many people were starting to get in the basement. Like there was like packed, and like you played small basements, like you can
Yeah,
do like
yeah.
15 people, and then it gets like fire hazard pretty quick. So I went upstairs because the people who lived in the house were like, "What the fuck is going on tonight?"
How are all these
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, it was like
So
a
many
Tuesday
people
night.
here. Yeah.
It was like my band from Arizona had never played Missoula. Soul Glow from Philadelphia had never played Missoula before. Those were the two touring bands. Like no one's coming out to that
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
And so I told the people at the house, I'm like, okay, so we didn't really know if it was actually going to happen, but we met Shia LaBeouf this morning. We invited him to the show, and he's in your basement right now. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
And they were like, no, that's fine. That's crazy. Like, they did
cool.
not know what to think about that.
Was this true? Is this
Yeah, right? And so Shia LaBeouf was there, and he had a camera person because they were filming like a documentary of the art project of them getting picked up everywhere. So they were just kind of like, you know, trying to be low key, but filming everything. And then tons of people came, and like we played. Somebody played their set and left before they even knew what the heck was going on that night because they were like that kind of artist to play like first
and then
just dip.
Yep.
And I was like, that is just the perfect, like, you know, story to tell bands of like, here's why you don't play first and then just dip, because this sort of thing could happen at your show or whatever.
I can't believe I left that
right?
show.
And even more funny is the person we played with the night before did the same thing. They like played and dipped, and then they came to this show because they heard Shia LaBeouf was going to be there, and I was just like, you dipped last night, and now you're coming to our show. How cool is that? But anyway, so Shia LaBeouf we played, and Shia LaBeouf came up to the front for us because we were the person we had talked to, and he seemed really nice. He really liked us. And we started playing, and a lot of my songs that I write are about traveling or about being on tour or being a musician or being an artist and all that stuff. And for whatever reason, especially at that time, I was writing a lot of songs about touring, and it really resonated with him because he was like living out of a car, traveling the country, and like being somebody who is a child actor who's always been rich, he like never has had that like experience sort of thing. So it was like I was singing these songs and he was doing this thing, and he was like so into it. Like
That's
so
awesome.
into it. He was like,
incredible.
and we were like unplugged and everything, and he was right up at the front of the set, and he was just like, "Fuck yes!" on certain lyrics that I had.
Awesome.
And he was just like our most vocal like supporter that night.
That's amazing. What a good story.
It's so weird.
That is a good story.
Totally.
Yeah.
And-
It's just like
and then
wow.
like then
even
afterwards,
Stevens, man.
totally right. Afterwards, he left, and we all watched Holes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was just
I
like.
bet he would have just been like, guys, turn this the
Right,
fuck
yeah,
off,
yeah.
please. Like, please.
No, but then he invited us to come out and play the premiere of the documentary.
No way.
So we went out with a full band into Denver,
Oh my
in
gosh.
Boulder, in the
No
Museum of Art in
shit.
Boulder. So
That's
and they
incredible.
like paid us and everything.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
like I expect, like, cause like we were in the same boat as everybody else who was part of the project, and just like we just randomly met him and whatever. But then they got in touch with us and were like, "Yeah, come out, like come
Wow.
to play
Yeah.
this, because it's just part of the experience now. You're like part of this art piece that we did."
That's so incredible.
And then so we played that, and like when we were in the green room, like hanging out, like trying to like get ready, and they like because it was Colorado, they gave us like gift baskets sort of thing, or what do we call those? But like with like a bunch of weed and stuff. Like that. And that was like that was the gift basket because it was Colorado.
Yeah.
And then like Shia LaBeouf came in and just saw us and was so stoked to see us.
That's
and I just
so
expected him
awesome.
to just
Yeah.
be like whatever, but he
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
like pumped to see us.
Yeah, totally. That's
What
What
so
a rad
awesome.
dude. That's
Yeah.
so cool to hear such a positive thing about someone that's
Yeah.
had the camera in their face and that's made all that money, and now they're just an everyday average person
Yeah.
that just wants to share love with people. and
Yeah,
art
yeah.
and-
He is like overall a positive guy and positive experience. Like he definitely has like some negative stuff. He's bipolar and he talks about it a lot. And like sometimes I feel like that comes out in a really negative way in just his personal life and personal dealings. And there were some issues on that trip with him and with other people or whatever. But in general, positive dude. Positive life.
Yeah,
And
your
just, like,
experience.
Because he even talked about it. He was like, I could just go and make another Transformers movie and make like, $30 million doing that or something like that. But I would way rather just like make weird art and travel the country doing art. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like all the people I know. We would also rather do that or
Yeah.
want to do that. I mean, $30 million sounds nice, right? Like
it's like
but it is kind of a cool thing, like that,
Wow.
that he does want to do that. So that's my weird tour story.
that is pretty awesome though. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so what's the first thing you reach for in the morning when you're on tour? You're just like, when you wake up in the morning, what is this?
I mean, it's definitely my glasses.
Okay,
100%.
fair enough. That's good.
Yeah,
There you go.
Totally.
Yes.
And mostly because I've been on tour and broken my glasses before.
Oh.
Because like especially when I was like 19 doing my first couple tours, like definitely like didn't think about these as like staying at somebody's house, putting them on the floor next to me while I'm sleeping is like not a good idea because
Oops.
somebody's gonna walk over me
Yeah.
and step on them, which ended up happening once. So like for me, it's like, all right, put my glasses in a safe spot when I sleep. and put them in and make sure I can get them right when I wake up. And then they're like, that's the least amount of time. I also don't wear contacts or anything. So it's like,
Yeah, me neither.
Did you have a backup pair at least when that happened? Somebody stepped on?
On that tour, no, I didn't.
Oof.
I mean, I do now, but yeah.
When we got in the wreck, my glasses went flying. So when we were in the hospital, I couldn't see for like 5 days. And my sister-in-law let me borrow her glasses, and they weren't the right prescription, but
Yeah.
I've never appreciated my sight more.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Not being able to see for 5 days,
Totally.
and then all of a sudden, and then he found my glasses in the bus. There's only one scratch on them. So
Whoa.
like, I got so lucky because they
They
flew.
didn't break,
you know,
yeah. Right.
I was just like the whole
Yeah.
week in the hospital. All I could think of is, oh, my glasses aren't broken.
Totally.
So feel lucky.
I feel that.
What's the dumbest thing you've been arrested for? And it's okay if you haven't been
I
arrested.
haven't been arrested.
Oh,
I
okay,
haven't-
yeah, that's
haven't-
totally valid.
I haven't even. I mean, like I've gotten a lot of shows I've set up shut down by the cops, but I haven't had any real issue in that regard. You know,
Yeah.
I got a lot of privilege,
That's
so I end
awesome.
up like
There is nothing
exercising
wrong
it,
with
but-
not being arrested, though.
right.
So.
Yeah. No, I've never been arrested. Don't have any
Yeah.
horror stories there.
All right, so 30-second shout out to all your favorite bands. Go.
Oh, are we timing it?
Yep.
Cool. Fantastic.
Started right here.
I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I love the Ergs. I love Avett Brothers, Weezer. But I love all my friends' bands like way more, like Dog Breath and Diners. And I love Asa Martin. I love all those folks. That's my 30 seconds.
That was good.
That
Yes,
was the
bravo.
list.
Hell yeah.
Okay, where can people go to find your music?
Mostly on like Bandcamp or the Facebook or Spotify or whatever. That's kind of the way. I'm trying to make everything free now. I don't know. I don't want to charge for anything. And everybody, like when I'm playing with a band, they always like convince me to, or like when I'm doing anything, somebody is always like, you should just put like money for that. I'm like, oh, okay, I will. And then I'm like, why did I do that? Just make it free.
So, most important thing that you think people should hear?
In general,
In general.
Yeah.
in general, most important
Or your music.
thing I think people should hear. There was a song I used to like say that give that as an answer to, basically, of like what song should everybody hear. It's like the song "Life" by Jeffrey Lewis. I love that song. I think it's a great song. I think people should hear it. Yeah, I mean, after that, I just get like bogged down. I get in my head too much. So if I were to like give any advice, I'd be like, but that's not always true. Like,
I hear you.
like sometimes, like, you know, like a soundbite is just so not accurate. And it's just like, it's nice to think about, but then it's like, well, that's more complicated than that. Life is complex.
Yes.
There's the soundbite
Yeah, right. Life is complex.
for that answer.
At the end of the podcast, we're gonna play a couple of your songs. Which two songs would you like
If
us
you
to
want
play?
us to.
If you would like
No,
us to, yeah.
that's cool. Cool Ways to Die is a great one
Yes.
on this that we should do. Let me see what else we got. We do the last one. Well, I guess the last one, but it also, I think it has there's a bonus track on here. I can't remember if it's connected to the last one or if it's after.
Okay,
I feel
yeah.
like it's
so
a
it's
separate
called
track.
Die Young.
Yeah, but Die Young.
Die Young.
That would be another good one.
Sweet. Yeah, will do. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
for
you all
hanging
for
out
having
with
me.
Y'all
Nice.
heard it on
Yeah.
Ragged Bones. We got Logan Greene from Tucson, Arizona. Check it out on the internet. Do it.
I am just a teenager, spend my whole paycheck at a record store, and I daydream about cool ways to die. I daydream about cool ways to die. Lost in my thoughts, my head's in a tailspin. I blew out my speakers, blasting Carly Rae Jepsen. I daydream about cool ways to die. I daydream about cool ways to die. I'm a wannabe punk other moment I'd have seemed just fine, but who am I kidding? I've always been a mess. Well, I can't grow and I can't change, and all new things that seem the same. And I daydream about cool ways to die. 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 I daydream. I daydream. I daydream. I hope I die before I'm old. Getting old is miserable from what I'm told by my grandfather, and he's as tough as they come. I hope I die while I'm still young. I'm not exactly a pretty boy. I'll never be happy with the blemishes in my voice. Probably won't get better with more trips around the sun. I hope I die while I'm still young. Hope I'm not singing this song. Hope I'm not still up here getting all the lyrics wrong. Playing bars and basements, touring just for fun. I hope I die while I'm still young. Don't be sad for me. We've all gotta go sometime. I would rather be in control of my mind. Oh, I see no reason to be so scared to die. I hope I die before I'm old. Growing old is miserable from what I'm told by my grandfather, and he's as tough as they come. I hope I die while I'm still. I hope I die while I'm still. Hope I die while I'm still young.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you'd like to seek out or support any of the artists we've hosted today, we've attached links to this episode.
We're pretty darn hardworking artists ourselves, so if you'd like to show us some love and support, you can find us through our music, Robbers Roost.
Hey, check out our Patreon. It's probably the best way to support us. Also, check us out on social media because we plan to release these every Tuesday. Spill the beans, Ren.
Search for Robbers Roost, podcast or band on any platform. We got merch, tour dates, and all the fun stuff.
Ragged Bones from Broken Homes. This has been another episode with Mark.
And Renegade.
Stay tuned, folks.
Is that a musician joke?